I called this over on my other channel yesterday. This is Tony. Hope you're all doing well. And it was kind of amazing to me how few people understood this. These tariffs were obviously set forth to be reciprocal so that both of them get lowered down to nothing. It's kind of hilarious how no one seemed, well, there was probably a couple people that understood this, but I noticed when I looked at a lot of channels, they were completely clueless as to what was going on. And now we're seeing the fruit of it the next day already, and it was super obvious this was going to happen, but for some reason, a lot of people couldn't see this. It was obvious to me, maybe obvious to you, but a lot of people could not see this. Global trade shifts, Taiwan, Vietnam, and actually Zimbabwe, and actually a number of other countries have all offered to eliminate tariffs on U.S. goods. And a lot of people are still completely clueless as to what this means. And I gave an example over my other channel to make it very clear what's going to happen and why things are going to go down in price, not up. Because everyone keeps talking, oh no, the prices are going to go up everywhere. No, the exact opposite is going to happen in many cases. Okay? And I find it hilarious how no one seems to know this. And actually, we're going to get into a ton of stuff. We're not going to just talk about these tariffs. We're actually going to get into a lot of strange things, of course, in the news. Of course, they're trying to tell us that there's going to be a stock market crash. Jim Cramer. We got these protests, which apparently are not. And I called that yesterday, right, too. It was like a couple hours that came out. They were saying there's what was it? They were saying there's like 100, what was there, like 1,000. They're saying like there was 1,000 protests across America in every state. And I was like, I bet you they're, not exactly natural based, more a little artificial based. And now we're already seeing the evidence of that as well. So I'm going to get into that as well. We're also going to get into what's going on with the bees and insects, apparently all dying off. 80% of the bees are gone. And it might tie into that whole thing with the fog. You remember the fog back a couple months ago? You ain't going to believe how it connects to that. We'll get into that as well. We're going to get into everything. So let's just get going here. So we have here, of course, as I mentioned in my video over my main channel, God Rules, that all these countries are going to lower their tariffs down to nothing. And what does it mean? General Motors will now be able to sell their cars into all countries, not only America, because before the tariffs, General Motors pretty much couldn't sell the car anywhere but America. Now they're going to be opening up the entire world to being able to sell their cars. Kind of like Toyota. Toyota can come over here and sell millions of cars. Now General Motors can go over there and sell millions of cars. That's what's going to happen. Of course, there's some of these countries are still fighting it. Oh, we're not going to give in. Oh, yeah, you are. You're going to give in. And if you don't give in, you're going to lose. So either way, it's a win. So what does this mean? General Motors will be able to sell millions of cars outside of America. And when they do so, the prices are going to go down on the car overall. Why? Well, this is how it works in manufacturing. My background's, I used to actually work at a truck company, semi-truck company called Navistar International. And I have a background in marketing as well. So it's very obvious. If you do sales, you'll understand what I'm talking about. If you sell 1,000 of something, you can have it manufactured for a lot less cost. So the more you manufacture of an item, the lower the cost is. So that's why Ford is giving an employee discount to everyone. I have that around here somewhere. Where did that go? Yeah, here it is. So this explaining what's going on here. So a lot of people just don't understand what's going on here. So Ford Motor Company will offer employee pricing to you, all U.S. shoppers. Why? Because they're going to make more of them and sell them outside of America now. Ford is not going to be selling to America. They got a much bigger market now. They'll be manufacturing much more of them, which will make the manufacturing costs go down, which means it can sell for a lower price. That's what's going to happen. It's not going to be like, oh no, South Korea is going to keep it at 30% and completely destroy their own economy. That's so dumb. Why would they do that? Of course they're going to cancel it. That's why you have all these countries canceling it literally the next day. That's why you have a billionaire running our country right now, because he actually understands how business works. It's not rocket science. Taiwan, Vietnam both offered to eliminate tariffs. This is good news for Nike. All those investors are clueless. They have no understanding of how this stuff works. Oh no! There's tariffs. Nike's not going to make any money. Bro, you guys are so clueless. Oh my goodness, you're so clueless. Nike makes like 1,000% markup. They They get this stuff manufactured. I think it's Vietnam, right? It's Vietnam, right? They manufacture it in Vietnam for like $5-10, maybe 15 max. I don't know. It's very low. And then you sell it for 150 to a person in America. They got like 1,000% markup. Oh no, there's a tariff. Even if there was a tariff of 30%. Oh no, now it's 25 and they sell for 150 in America. They just got insane markup. They make tons of money. There is no reason for anybody to sell their Nike stock. You just wasted your time. The fact is, Nike is going to do better now. They're going to be able to sell their shoes into more countries, although they probably don't want to because they sell it for such a ridiculous price in America. Well, they'll probably make another version. They'll make other versions of shoes and sell it for cheaper in other countries. That's probably what they'll do. But American companies are going to do very well off these tariffs. This is what everyone's so clueless about this. It's so funny to watch how no one understands this. And we're seeing it play out. And I've been calling it right. Over 50 countries have reached out to the U.S. to negotiate new trade deals. Of course. Of course. Why? America buys everything. We're like the guy that just buys everything because we have money. We buy everything. They want to sell to us. They put tariffs on us because they want to keep more money in their country. So now we're like, no, we're not going to let you, rob us anymore. Tariff on you. You tariff at us. We tariff you. 30% on us, 30% on you. Okay, well, wait, we can't do that. No, hell no. Let's put it at 5% or 0. Okay, sounds good. And guess what? A lot of them are going to go to 0, which means we'll have 0 on our products going into South Korea, 0 on our products going to Japan. Of course, these countries, particularly the Asian countries like Japan and South Korea, they're going to be a little bit harder to win over. But Taiwan, next day. Vietnam, next day. Zimbabwe, all these countries, next day. They're going to try to hold out in the EU. It's hilarious to watch. Look at this. EU imposes 28 billion tariffs. Bro, you're gonna cave in. Just like Canada did. Canada coming out with all their big words. Oh, we're gonna tariff you back. You're gonna do anything. You're gonna undo it. Just like you did. And EU is gonna undo it as well. And I think the Asian countries are as well, although they seem to be a little bit smarter. I'm trying to think of how they can maybe somehow wrangle out some. They'll probably do something where they keep some tariffs and get rid of others and then try to negotiate a really strong. They're going to try to negotiate to where they can keep a little bit of tariffs, I think, in Asia, I'm guessing, because of how they think. Korea is called the Hermit Kingdom originally because they're very isolatory in their history. So it makes sense that they would probably, hedge out as long as they can. But guaranteed, China's going to give in really quick. They're going to give in really quick because we buy everything from China. They're going to, and I don't know about EU. I don't know what we buy from the EU. I'm sure we get some stuff there. They sell stuff to us, you know what I mean? So I'm sure they're going to give in pretty quickly too. So it's just funny watching this whole thing and how they're trying to say, and Jim Cramer, the guy gets everything wrong, telling you, oh no, there's a stock market crash coming. It's not because, I'm going to just tell you now. There's not going to be a stock market crash because of tariffs. Okay? It ain't happening. Okay? But there could be a stock market crash because of all the terrible economic policies we've had for the last couple decades, or particularly the last 4 years. And also because we had 3 charts telling us that it's going to crash. You got the yield curve uninverting. I don't know, though, if these tariffs, how this will impact those charts. I don't know if maybe somehow our president can pull off a miracle and we won't have a stock market crash. That might, I don't know. I'm not some, marketing. I'm not some financial guru here. So I'm just, thinking off the top of my head. I do understand manufacturing, though. I do understand business, which apparently a lot of people like Peter Schiff don't understand. Because I called him on a tweet, was it day before yesterday? And I'm completely right. I've already been proven right. It's so funny to watch. I think Peter Schiff was talking about Nike. He just doesn't understand how things work in manufacturing. He may understand investing principles. He might understand stocks. He don't understand nothing about manufacturing. So you got Peter Schiff. What did he say? He said something about Nike, I think it was. Isn't he the guy who said something about Nike? What did he say? Nike won't build factories in the U.S. to make sneakers. That would add more costs than for. So technically, he is correct. He is correct about that first sentence, because again, they have such a markup it wouldn't even matter. Plus, they need to stay competitive selling to customers in other countries that don't impose tariffs. Look, see, this is where he doesn't get it. Oh, we're imposing tariffs. He thinks it's some sort of static thing. How is it no one doesn't understand this yet? Look what happened with Canada. They got canceled. We're seeing them cancel in real time. Okay, Vietnam already got canceled. Vietnam 0. We already got the tariffs canceled. So his second sentence has already been proven wrong. The result will be fewer sneakers sold in the U.S. Nope, you're wrong. You're completely wrong, actually. Now what you have, the result is those who make sneakers in America can now sell it into Vietnam. I mean, I don't know if anybody would want to do that, but maybe there is. Maybe there's some market. I don't know. I'm sure there's some products you could sell into Vietnam from America. I don't know what it would be, but there's something, I'm sure. Whatever it is, that person can now sell stuff into Vietnam. Okay? Maybe even, I don't think Nike will probably sell into Vietnam because they're too focused on, they're focused on what I call high-end customers. You got two kinds of customers. I used to talk about this on my channel. You got the cheap guy and you got the high-end guy. And it might sound weird to say it this way, but the cheap guy is always looking for the lowest price. He doesn't care about the quality. And this is a case-by-case basis, person-by-person basis, product-by-product basis. But in the case of Nike, people are looking for high quality, allegedly. And they think, oh, Nike's high quality. Oh, I'm going to pay $150 for it. Even though it isn't really high quality. It's just their mind, they're convinced it is. So that's why they pay it. So, of course, Nike focuses on that type of customer, high-end customers. They're probably not going to want to sell into countries that have really low-price stuff. Just a guess, but I don't know. At any rate, so you got that. I mean, so it's interesting. What this means is we're going to see lower prices. Not higher, lower. You're going to see better jobs, lower prices. You're actually going to have money not be broke anymore. That's another thing that's going to happen. It's going to be like, it's basically reversing it back to the 1970s when half the GDP was in the middle class, when we actually had a middle class because of manufacturing jobs from this type of sector. You're going to see that come back. You're going to see prices come down because, of course, a lot of these people can't do calculus with manufacturing. They don't understand they're going to sell into all these other countries. Matter of fact, you already have evidence of prices coming down ever since he got in. You have here fast food meals. This is from a leftist source. I can't get into the article because it's a paid website. I think what was it, the Washington Times or something? I think that's what it was. I can't remember. But they require payment. I don't want to pay for it. But here we have Jeremy covering it. Since he got in, 6% down on fast food. So prices are actually down 6% since he got in. Okay? They went up 30% since for the last 4 years, from 2020 to 2024, it went up 30%. But it went down 6% ever since 2 months ago, our president got in. So prices are going down while they tell you the exact opposite. They're telling you inflation's going up while it's not. And in the last 4 years, they told you nothing. They said inflation was not even existing, and you saw everything go up. So they literally are lying to you all the time. Then you got this here. We got this story. Apparently protesters at an event. Check this out. You see this guy right here? His name's Brandon Tatum. I was the first guy to interview him on YouTube. A lot of people don't even know that, but I interviewed him before he was even on YouTube. I told him, I think you would do good on YouTube. He's like, oh, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can do it. I'm like, yeah, man, you got the voice. I can tell you would do well. The dude's got like 3 million subs or something now. I don't know what he's got. He's got an insane amount of subs. That's who that is right there. Former cop Brandon Tatum. I told him he would do good on YouTube, and then he gets on YouTube and he's like smoking it, man. He's like one of the top dudes on YouTube now in this realm. I think he's got 3 million subs. Let me go look at it. He smoked past me a long time ago. So it's so funny, man. I like recommended him become he's got 3.4 million subs. He may not even got on YouTube if I wouldn't have mentioned it to him. I don't know. Maybe it would have, maybe it wouldn't have. I don't know. It's hard to say, but I encouraged him to do it, and look at where he's at. Of course, this is that video is about him. Apparently, they basically set up a tent. They were going to do one of these college, talks. Maybe it was with Charlie Kirk. I don't know. But they stole their tent, like literally just stole it. Okay. At any rate, let's play a little bit more of this. Here he is being interviewed.
Who became very popular on social media because of his conservative law and order views. And he has millions of people who follow him. Brandon Tatum, good to have you with us today, sir. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having me on.
So the university basically said, look, nobody was hurt. This isn't a big deal. And we do everything we can to protect free speech on campus. Is that true?
That's the biggest lie and sack of crap that I've ever heard in my life. They could not protect us, and they were not given any real effort to thwart these people who came from God knows where. We don't even know if these were students. They were completely masked. They came and assaulted people. They tore up everything. They stole
their entire tent, and the cops just stood there while they did it.
Property, and then they not only did it once, they came back twice. So all the police officers had every identifying marker that these people were going to be violent, and they still didn't do anything. And thank God.
Oh my goodness. Of course. So that's kind of what happened with that. Pretty crazy. Of course, then we have this weird story with bees. So I covered this I'm covering it today over my other channel as well. Millions of bees died this year. Now, this is very important. A lot of people don't realize it, but our food supply is heavily reliant on bees. Millions of bees have died this year. It's the worst bee loss in recorded history, one beekeeper says. 80% of them died in 8 months. And this isn't the first time. This has been happening quite a bit. It happened back in 2023 as well. It wasn't as bad then. Nearly half the U.S. honeybee colonies died last year, talking about 2022, and struggling beekeepers stabilized the population. So what was causing all these deaths? We now have, of course, 1.6 million colonies dying, largest ever U.S. honeybee die-off. And this just came out 2 days ago on the 4th. You also have butterfly populations in great decline as well. You also have insects in general, overall. And it was from last month. I have an article on that. Where is that at? Is it this one? No, this is some other article. This is interesting, though. This is an article on... Yeah, I don't. There's an article also about insects. I don't know where it went. I got it around here somewhere, but it's saying all the insects in general are dying off. But you have here, of course, also link between chemicals and declining insect populations. This is from last year, October last year. They put out there was a one talking about insects in March that went. Let me see if I can find that. I don't know where I put it. Where did it go? Insects declining population. Let's see if we can find the article. No, I don't see it here. Oh, no, here we go. Insect population collapse, why it matters now. This is a different article than the one I was looking at, but bird populations here and elsewhere have been halved during our lifetimes, with a 40% decline in the last decade alone. Yeah, we've seen that also in the national parks. There's like a massive decline in animals in general, just like a huge decline. I can't remember the exact number, but it was more than 50% down in like 5 or 10 years. In the national parks, just in general, like wolves, everything, just less animals. Less insects, less animals. And I was kind of wondering what was causing this. And I saw this article here about aluminum being something that can kill off bees. You have here, bees suffer dementia due to metal pollution, aluminum. Now, what's really bizarre is, you remember we had that fog back a couple months ago. You remember we had all those stories back in, it was pretty much at the end of the year. It was like 12/30, around there. And we saw it in all the different states, actually numerous states. I think there was like at least 30 states. And it was also in London. It was in the UK. Check this out.
Different states, different cities, different countries are all reporting weird fog that smells weird, that looks weird. And this is supposed to be fog. And people are saying if you walk through this fog or you drive through with your windows down, it smells like pepper or aluminum.
See right there. This is from like last year. Look at that. This is not snow. This is some weird stuff in the air. They don't know what it is. And he mentioned the word aluminum, and aluminum causes dementia in bees and kills them off. And now we have the biggest die-off of bees ever in recorded history. But you have all these bizarre videos from back in December. This is in the UK here. A lot of them were in Florida. There was a huge amount. And what's really bizarre is there was a story. I saw this video about this lady right here is talking about lab, grown meat. And apparently there's only 2 states that block it. And one of them is Florida. The other one's Nebraska. And we saw the most of all of these bizarre fog in Florida. I mean, if you could do a search on it, like most of the videos were in Florida, especially the ones with the most ridiculous particulates, where just like, what is that? I mean, look at this one. What is that, dude? Like, this is the kind of stuff everybody was seeing in Florida. It was like crazy. That's Florida as well. It's like, what is that? And it smells like aluminum, right? So this lady was talking about how they want to sell this meat. We're talking artificial, not from a cow or a chicken or a pig. Something they literally grew. You know what I mean? Like in a lab. So she was talking about it here. Check this out.
I was talking to a friend that is trying to raise beehives. I don't know the first thing. She was telling me about this survey that they came out with. Over the past 12 months, 80% of our hives and bees are gone. This is the name of the survey. You know that this is caused by pesticides, and they're doing this on purpose. We need bees for everything. I started looking into beef tallow, and I've been kind of doing carnivore. There's a lab in Spain that is making lab-grown tallows. Then I went down that rabbit hole of lab-grown meat companies everywhere. I'm showing just some of them. Only 2 states that I found have banned it, which is Florida and Nebraska.
So this is what she was saying on the video, and it kind of relates. I don't know if it's tied. I just think it's kind of curious. We still don't know what that fog was. Could have affected a lot of these insect populations. They're now also finding something new in humans that never was recorded before. Microplastics found. And apparently this can cause inflammation and other issues. But they're finding this as well. Could this also be in insects? Could this be in animals? Well, probably more so humans because of what we eat and what we drink from and all that kind of stuff. But it makes you wonder, right? At any rate. So, of course, there's actually more. This is a crazy video. Check this out.
Anybody know what's going on with the ground lately? Like...
What is that, dude? He's got like fire. He's kicking the snow and he gets fire.
Anybody know what's going on with the ground lately? Like...
Dude, that is not normal. Okay. So you got stuff like that. You got these other weird videos of rubber pellets of ice. Let me show you this. This is crazy too. Where was it at? I think it was this one. Check this out.
What is this? It's like a raindrop, but it's like frozen, but it's like rubbery. It's so weird. And it's all over the glass. It's all over the glass here.
Like rubber ice pellets now apparently falling. I don't think it's supposed to be rubbery. So at any rate, that's my video. I'm kind of wondering what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. And thanks for watching.